Hello, Modern Mystic. A long time no see. I don't watch a lot of economic videos, so I haven't commented to you for a long time. I've been thinking about you, though, while we've been arguing about willpower. But, yeah, the thing, to me, it seems kind of interesting. I have a weird understanding of economics from the point of view of an economist, I think. But not totally unjustified. I'm not admitting I don't know anything, but I don't really know anything officially. But I do know understand some of the systematics of it from my own point of view. I think, okay, so we have this fiat currency, but our economy really isn't there from the way the money works. There can be 10 or is it even 100 times more. I'd like to know the real number, I guess. Money in bank accounts that people are transferring than there is currency, of course, because the Fed is really just printing the money. But then there's part of the money that isn't printed that they tell people that they can deposit. But see, that's the funny thing. If the Fed printed the currency and that was deposited, allowing a bank to say lend 10 times that amount, then or whatever the proper ratio would be, then that would make sense. But the weird way that they print money, where they borrow money, and the government and the Fed seem to have weird roles, and so it's like it seems like circular, like self-referential, like it's going to violate some Bertrand Russell-esque kind of idea. It's like some paradox. So, I mean, it seems to me that we obviously need a totally fungible currency. My ideas have surrounded the idea of having a, a currency based on a commodity, that to register something in a commodity market would be to base a currency on it. And there would be dollars issued by that market, and to have dollars would relate somehow to that market. They would be like really quick exchange stock certificates of some sort, so you could go and turn one in and get a certain amount of material. Now, it's nice to have the idea that you would get a pound of the flour, or a ounce of gold, or some material quantity like that that's nice and steady. I would love to preserve that. But if you were to have a dollar that is hypothetically, with the computer system's help, backed by various currencies. But let's say you get a dollar and it says it's marked, energy currency, or, you know, uh, grain currency, wheat currency. It was marked, but you still want a dollar to be a dollar. Well, then you have to work the math backwards, and it does have to be a varying amount that you get. That might be fair in the sense that maybe you're buying futures and you're buying some weird combination of futures and current commodity purchases, in that maybe a dollar is, since it's you're gonna could exchange, well, it is a future, isn't it? I see, this is where I don't really understand economics. This isn't, don't grok it the way I think, more the kind of abstractions that make sense to me. But it is a future because you're betting on in the future. So maybe you get a different amount instead of the price changing, like with a regular future option. Um, the amount that you get would change, and the price is fixed. So a dollar's always a dollar, but if the shit hits the fan, and there's inflation, you can always go get your resource. And the price wouldn't be based on demand, it'd be based on the supply, right? So your dollar, when you got it, was supposed to be worth a pound of flour, because that's your share. There's a billion of those dollars for all of the commodity that is produced at the current moment. There's $1 billion. If everybody comes right now and says, "Here's my dollars," all the outstanding dollars, then the warehouse would be emptied of that commodity, right? That's the idea. So if I have a wheat dollar, I can go get wheat. There has to be some amount of wheat. And it has to be a billion. It's only going to go down to nothing if there is no wheat, because there was there was giant storms, all the wheat in the world died, there was no wheat produced. That's the only way for me to get no wheat, right? Or the so-called value to, instead of skyrocket the price, the amount you get for your one bill would decrease. But see, not based on the fact that everybody's looking for wheat, right? Not because of demand, but because of how much wheat there actually was, and the fact that you had a certificate for one sliver of it. So whatever that sliver slice was, and that could vary, you would get that. And so you wouldn't have the crisis pricing um, for someone that actually had a wheat dollar. They would go get wheat. Now they, of course, could still do all the same old economic tricks. Selling, once they got the physical wheat, they could say, "Look, this is a physical pound of wheat. In this case, is worth more. So I want $100 of your water dollars and your energy dollars or whatever." So you could still play games like that in a crisis, but having dollars of a certain commodity, which you might get by choosing a certain bank or certain stores. Or I think if you had a system like this, ideally it'd be all mixed and people wouldn't really care. But when a crisis is at the fan, yeah, there might be a demand on a certain kind of dollar. I think that would be good, because then you could help regulate the situation by having that sort of dollar defined. And it's like things with the oil reserve. That's when the government with this private oil reserve would say, well, we're going to put some of our government oil into the oil dollar bank, because the sliver has gotten so small because all the wells blew up because nobody would do it safely. Okay, so that was a lot of rambling, but anyway, maybe you get the idea. Uh, Cheers.